We are back once again by the channel's good friend Great Tide Studios, sponsoring another video showing off some of their incredible pieces. And obviously every time I'm tasked with making one of these videos, I trawl through all their amazing bits that add on to Space Marines and decide what I want to do. There's so many like beautiful things: Dark Angels, Black Templars, Salamanders, Blood Angels. There's so many different things to choose from. And I suddenly realized while I was scrolling through them that they had a small section of Ultramarine parts that I have never got a chance to play around with. And since they just announced new Calgar, new Sicarius, new Victrix Guard, all those things, I thought there would not be a better time to jump in, get something awesome put together and get it painted up for you in today's video. So that's what we're going to do. Let's dive in and get this awesome Ultramarine painted. Okay guys, step one, of course, of getting this video done was deciding what parts to do. And like I said in the intro, I decided to go for the Ultramarines bits. So I just printed off a selection of their bit, the kind of gladius, some shoulder pads. I printed off some shields, capes. I wasn't really sure what the vision was for the model just yet, so I just want to have enough parts ready to, when I went through that kind of construction process, I could play around and then come to a decision. Went through the process of removing the supports and getting all the parts cleaned up. Those parts are absolutely stunning. This is one of their small selections of parts. They've got some really big selections for things like Black Templars and Dark Angels and Blood Angels and Space Wolves. But there's a couple of things like Legion of Damn, which they don't need a really big selection. But I think Ultramarines definitely deserves a full blowout, like huge selection of parts. So hopefully at some stage they kind of do that and push that a little bit more forward. So I just printed off basically one of everything. I'm not sure where I was going to go. So what I did was I cut out an Assault Intercessor, got one in a nice kind of moving pose, and then got his arms and clipped off that kind of hands from them so they were clean and clear and ready for me to put on the custom parts. Which was easy in some and kind of a little bit more difficult. This particular hand here, the kind of, I don't know what you call it, the van brace kind of went up over the hands here to kind of carve it out a little bit. But once I did and I decided to glue it into place and got all the right parts on, this is the model that I was left with. And even from just assembling him, I was like, this guy is a badass. Like, how cool is he? He's so like Romanesque with his big billowing cape and his gladius, and oh, I love him. He's so cool. So I was very excited to get some paint on him. Obviously, the reason I chose Ultramarines is we do have some Ultramarines releases coming at some point soon, I hope, and with some awesome new characters. So there's no harm in printing off and getting some new models ready. So imagine if I got, say, 3 Assault Intercessors, upgrade them with all these parts, and then I'd have my first unit of Victrix Guard like ready to go before Sicarius even drops. I think that's a really cool way of going about it. So I got the model sprayed gray sear, and then we moved on to the contrast stage for adding all of the base coats. You guys know how I do Ultramarines. I've done them on the channel a couple of times before for a bunch of different models. So we'll be following along with that same recipe to make it kind of simple and easy for you guys. If you guys are enjoying the content and want to see more of it, the best way to do that is, of course, to make sure these videos are successful. To make sure the videos are successful, some very simple things you can do. Like the video. Ask any questions you want in the comments below, and make sure you are subscribed. Those 3 things are very easy to do, and they make quite a big difference. If you want to help further the channel even more, there is things like a Patreon and channel membership all linked down below. That's getting a big refurbish soon. There's lots of extra benefits, including kind of giveaways, but also going on right now, we have things like painting competitions, monthly showcases, challenges, all those kind of things going on the private Discord server, which you got access to for being a Patreon or a channel member. So there's really cool stuff going on over there. Please do check it out. Okay, so as you can see, I am just throwing on base coats right now. We got the Ultramarines blue all over the armor, and we got some Black Templar for blocking in the soft seal parts of the armor. I always call it the soft seal parts of the armor. It's how to describe it in books and stuff, but it's basically, you know, the kind of ribbed sections in front of elbows or behind knees, around neck seals. It's those bits on the Space Marine armor that needs a little bit more flexibility for movement. That can't just be like a plate of armor. After that, we moved over to Blood Angel's red contrast and started blocking in all of the bits that need to be red. And on this guy, obviously he's a champion or he's a veteran of some description, so he's going to have quite a lot of decoration to him. And Ultramarines are quite fond of red for kind of showing rank. So we went for those nice leather straps on his shoulders, his big billowing cape, and then the plume off of his helmet. We did all that in red. Then it was time to move over to Retributor Armor Gold. Another favorite color of the Ultramarines is their ostentatious gold. These guys are like the Roman Legion. They like being quite showy and like quite stand-outish on the parade ground on the battlefield. So a healthy dose of gold was sprinkled across his entire model from his chest aquila to the rib shoulder panels to pommels of his gladiuses and everything from in between. I do really like these shoulder pads. I did argue with myself a little bit as to maybe I should leave one of the shoulder pads like normal and one of them be like a gladiatorial, so that I had a little bit of space on one of them to add an Ultramarines transfer. In the end, I decided to just go all in on the kind of gladiator style and give him the double kind of rib shoulder pads, or serrated, no, the word for segmented, that's the one, the segmented plate shoulder pads. It just looked really cool, and I wanted those leather kind of tassely bits under both of them, so that was pretty cool. Lead Belcher was then brought in for some of the remaining silver details, such as the blades. That's pretty much all it really was there. I also threw a green contrast on his laurels around his head. Kind of a good solid Ultramarine without some laurels. Nuln oil was then used across the entire miniature to shade it all down, tie all those tones together, and give us a really nice, well base coated, dark toned model as like a base coat for starting the layering process. This is where I really enjoy painting. This step, like here where I throw on contrast and throw on a shade, is like the tedious stage. It's like the mechanical stage. It's almost like assembling the miniature. It's like you're getting ready to have the fun part, which I think is now, which is the layering. So my Ultramarines are painted a little bit different. Anyone who's watched any of my other videos does know this, that I don't quite like the sky blue armor style. So I just go a little bit more kind of rich. And that's why I love Kaldor Sky. So that's the color that I'm going to focus on mainly for layering up these armor panels. And as you can see, I go in with a small layer brush, a nice healthy one with a fine point, Kaldor Sky off a wet palette so it's nice and thin, and I just start layering up the armor plates, taking my time, leaving that recessed kind of contrast Nuln oil in all the gaps and all the little crevices of the armor. We're going to leave that behind, and it's only on the kind of flatter parts of the armor that we're going to layer up with Kaldor Sky. To some people, this can seem like a tedious stage, but like I said, I actually quite enjoy this. Maybe I'm just, I don't know, a sadist or something, but I just think it's really fun. Very therapeutic to layer up power armor. So yeah, just go with it. Try and take your time. Try and enjoy it. I'd say to get this entire model layered took maybe kind of 10 minutes. Which, you know, can seem like a quick amount of time, but then obviously if you're doing like multiple guys together as, you know, one thing, if you're doing like 5 Space Marines at a time, that's still close to an hour of just layering up blue. That can wreck some people's heads, but it's totally worth it. My traditional trio of reds was then introduced to make all of those red details pop across the miniature. It does not take a lot of time to do. Like the rest of it, you would probably do all those 3 red sections in, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes. And I mean that for all 3 stages. It's a very quick thing to do. The more you do it, the quicker you get, the neater you get, and then the easier it is for you to find kind of the volumes on the cape, knowing where the shadows should go and where the highlights should go. But a basic rule of preference is when you look at a fold on a cape, where the folds go in, that should be nice and dark, and where the folds come out and are like kind of further from the miniature, that's where the sun is going to hit it the most, and that's where it's going to be brightest. So just think about it like that when you're layering, and you should have absolutely no problem. So right now it is a Blood Angels red contrast, Nuln oil shaded down, and then we're going to go Mephiston red, Evil Sun Scarlet, Wild Rider. We're going to go lighter with each coat, and then we're going to go more in. So if we take one fold facing out, let's say you would do, I don't know, 70% of that fold with Mephiston red, and then you might do 40% of that fold with Evil Sun Scarlet, and then you might do 5% of that fold with Wild Rider red, and that will give you some really nice volume across the cape and make it look really cool. I should really do some more different colored capes on the channel, but I just love how vibrant and like warlike a red cape is. It's so cool, and it is the color that seems to be the most prevalent across all the different armies. Is red capes seem to be, it's like white helmets. I can't remember who was responsible for that in the Games Workshop lore, but someone decided at some stage that if you're a veteran of an army, you have a white helmet. And if you think about that across all the different armies, Space Marines, it's true, Dark Eldar, it's true, Tau, it's true, you know, they just pull it through the entire the range, and it does kind of work. So we continue on with the same thing with red. Obviously that last final highlight on the details is just such a small amount, but it really does add just that nice pop of color to the model. Makes it look really cool. I think he is really starting to come together now. We're on the kind of home stretch now. We just have to highlight a few small extra layers. So Liberator Gold for highlighting all the gold. Normally I do silver, like go back to Lead Belcher for highlighting my gold, but obviously it's Ultramarines, that really polished gold. It's really quite special to them. So I went for that Liberator Gold, and I took my time and did some quick highlights. And I think that really helps it stand out, make it look really fresh and really suit their kind of tone and aesthetic. And then obviously we highlighted a few other parts that we didn't bother kind of showing on camera. We've done it a million times before. Eye lenses were done, you know, 2 greens, a dark green, a slightly brighter green, dot of white in the corners and some glaze. And that's about it really. We highlighted the blades, iron breaker for the swords. But if I'd have added all those steps in, the video would be 20 minutes long, and I don't think it needs to be 20 minutes long. We are liking the final result of this guy. But obviously, as you guys know, with me, all good Space Marines are battle damaged, weathered, chipped. So I always like grabbing a little bit of case foam, and grabbing some black or some silver paint, making sure there's barely any left on the sponge when you dip it in, and then just kind of stabbing at the model with it, stippling the model with the sponge, just to add some chips and some damage across the armor. It makes it look way more like, I don't know, less like a toy and more like kind of a miniature war game piece. I just think it suits, looks really cool. And with that, we have our final result of what this Ultramarine is. And I don't actually know what this Ultramarine should count as. Do you like the idea of him being a Victrix Guard miniature? Or can you think of a more suitable role for this guy on the battlefield? Please do let me know in the comments below what you think of this guy. Please do check out Grey Tide Studio. I leave all their stuff linked down below. They're an incredible company with some incredible stuff, and I definitely think they are worth your time. So please do check those guys out.